Okay, I am still getting situated. Holy cow, okay. I am actually very excited about this live stream. Yeah, I'm right. I just needed something. I'm having technical difficulties and I'm trying to get all of my stuff together. I have a lot of stuff for you guys. I am so excited about this live stream. I've never been more excited. I'm very passionate about this issue. All right. I think we're kind of okay. Let's try. Should I try some lights? About this issue, and I actually really hope. I really hope that someone from Martha's Vineyard, or maybe a few people from Martha's Vineyard, maybe they will stumble upon this video. Maybe after this live stream, maybe after it's posted, and after we have completed this discussion, maybe they will stumble upon it. Maybe they will watch it. Maybe they will learn something from it. Maybe we can actually have conversations. Now I think things are open for us to be able to have conversations. So I'm going to let people come in. I'll get a little bit situated. I have a lot of stuff for you guys. And one thing that I have for you, actually, a Martha's Vineyard Facebook group has been infiltrated. So we are going to look at what some of the actual residents in Martha's Vineyard have been talking about as far as the migrants arriving, not to make fun of anyone or anything like that, but purely educational, because I think it's important. So I'm going to give my opinion on some of their opinions. Okay, cool. Hello, thank you everyone for joining. This will be quite the show for you today. Obviously, we all know the news. It was the biggest news yesterday about Martha's Vineyard. So we have had a big crisis on our southern border ever since Joe Biden took office. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I really do hope someone from Martha's Vineyard or other people that don't know what's been going on, like you and I have known what's been going on, I hope someone stumbles upon this and can actually learn something, because I feel like more than anything, this is actually an opportunity right now to have a conversation about what's been going on. Because what's really sad is, let me back up. The news is that 50 migrants were dropped off at Martha's Vineyard. I believe 48 to be correct. Were dropped off in Martha's Vineyard. They came from Florida. Ron DeSantis sent them up. As you know, planes filled with migrants have been arriving in Florida almost since the beginning. Secret planes, actually, in the middle of the night. I believe there were about 70 that we know of for sure that Biden has been flying all around the U.S. And some of those migrants have been dropped off in Florida. Well, Florida is a red state. Florida did not vote for open borders. Florida wants legal immigration, not illegal immigration. So they're being sent to Florida. Why would Florida take them if that's not what Florida voted for? So Florida is like, okay, you're bringing them here unannounced. We are going to see if they want to be transferred anywhere else. That's what they did. And one of those places was Martha's Vineyard. So you have Governor Greg Abbott now of Texas. You have Governor Doug Ducey of Arizona. And now you have Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, who are now, when migrants are coming to their areas, they're giving them the option to go somewhere else to alleviate some of the pressure. There are towns in Texas that are seeing thousands and thousands of migrants enter their towns every single day. And this has been happening since day one of Joe Biden taking office, because of three very specific things that he did his first day in office. He ended Remain in Mexico, which actually worked. This was a policy that deterred people from making the dangerous trek up through Mexico to the southern border. So he stopped that. He stopped construction of the border wall. Does that completely eliminate people crossing illegally? No, but it helps a lot. And one of the things that it does is it slows people down, and it gives Border Patrol more of an opportunity to approach these people and to intervene when they're crossing illegally. So there's a lot of reasons the border wall serves, rather than just, oh, there's a wall, I can't cross over there, let me turn around. darn, all of that for nothing, obviously. But so many liberals say that a wall is the R word. Having border security is an R word. We're a nation that takes in. We're a nation of immigrants. We were built on immigrants. What is the Statue of Liberty? Give me you're hungry and you're sick and all of that. And yes, we do want to help people, but is this the way to do it? Also, who's coming over the border? I've done a lot of research on this topic, and it's not the poorest in the world. It's not the sickest in the world, and it's not the most vulnerable. There are 700 million people around the world who make under $2 a day. There are 1.9 billion people around the world who make under $3.20 a day. Those are who live off that amount of money. Those are the poorest people in the entire world. That is not who's coming over the southern border. The people that are coming over the southern border are not the sickest. They're not the most vulnerable. They're not the most poor. The sickest, the most vulnerable, and the most poor are too poor, they're too sick, and they're too disconnected to be able to even know how to make the journey across. The people that are coming across the border, most of which have paid a smuggler to smuggle them across the border. They have paid either the cartel or coyote or some smuggler, some trafficker, thousands of dollars to get them over that border. And the thing about Martha's Vineyard, yes, they got, I think about 48 people total. They got the best of what's actually coming over their border. They didn't get any MS-13 gang members. They didn't get the drug traffickers or the smugglers or the criminals. They didn't get any of those people. They got probably the best of what's coming over. So they're not even experiencing what some people are experiencing. And before we go even further, because I really do hope that someone that lives there watches this, because I think this is such a great opportunity to open that door and actually talk to each other and have conversations. And it's so frustrating because we haven't been able to have conversations. Because anytime I bring up border security or legal immigration, or legal immigration versus illegal immigration, I'm immediately shut down and I'm called all kinds of names and I'm told that I'm not tolerant. So we haven't been able to have these conversations. And I actually agree with most people in Martha's Vineyard because I've been to Martha's Vineyard. I will probably be there again. I have a very close person that is close to me that has property in Martha's Vineyard, and this person came from nothing and made something of himself, literally dirt poor, taught himself everything, and is now a successful person living the American dream and is able now to afford to have a property in Martha's Vineyard. So not every, and this person votes Republican, so not everyone in Martha's Vineyard is some liberal crazy person who has a BLM tolerance sign in their yard. Not everyone there is like that. And you should have a nice place to go to. I'm not knocking anyone that has money, but you are advocating for policies that the people that have less than you are having to pay for. You're not having to pay for the policies that you advocate for. Let's look at what's on Martha's Vineyard right now. Did you see the 2 busloads of illegals they dropped off by? Yes, they dropped some off by Kamala Harris's house. I think it's hilarious, and some people are saying that's inhumane. You're using them as a nobody is. They're getting the option to go, and they're saying yeah. And I don't know if you've flying into Martha's Vineyard is really cool. Like they just had actually a really cool experience. That's very cool, and it's very beautiful. If you go to my Instagram, I was advertising. I never use that word. I was promoting this live on my Instagram. Hi, Sarah. Most of us will never get to visit. Exactly. Most people aren't even going to be able to get to visit Martha's Vineyard. Like, it is a privilege to get to see Martha's Vineyard. They had cool. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see what they saw when they flew into Martha's Vineyard. I was promoting this live, and I wanted to use pictures from Martha's Vineyard that I took, and it's up there. So it's very beautiful. I kept hearing people on the internet say that is so inhumane. They just dropped them in an island in the middle of nowhere. No, it's a really nice place. I'm sure they had a lovely experience there, and they were given the option. It's not like anyone's being tricked. I want to read you, I have a lot of stuff for you today. So we're just going to go through it. I'm going to try to answer things as we're going through some of this stuff. The Democrat-led city of El Paso. So this is Bill Melugin. So anyone from Martha's Vineyard or anyone that wants to know exactly what's been happening on the southern border, you can follow Bill Melugin on Twitter. You can follow Jorge Ventura on Twitter. You can go to my Instagram account, or you can go to my Twitter account. You will see all of those people there. I retweet them. I've been up to date on what's happening with the border. Look at my stories. You'll see all these people, and you can know who to follow if you want to stay up to date on what's going on in the border, and if you want to actually know what's happening, because it's not getting media attention. And that's why, Martha's Vineyard is a beautiful place. I don't want to see it ruined. I don't want tons of illegal immigrants being transported to Martha's Vineyard. I want the border closed. I don't want them also being transported to El Paso, Texas. I don't want anything being overrun, because there are finite resources. And that's just the truth of the matter. So Bill Melugin says, the Democrat-led city of El Paso, Texas, has been sending its own buses of migrants to NYC and just approved up to a $2 million contract for 16 months to bus even more migrants out of town. They are also requesting federal reimbursement. El Paso, however, is not being criticized. Also, this is November 6th, 2021. Biden sent 70 secret night flights of migrants from the border to Florida. More than 70 flights. So this is what was happening in Florida. So this is why, everyone's criticizing Ron DeSantis right now. I can't believe he did this. We should investigate this. It's illegal. Biden's been doing this the whole time. This is November of 2021. Joe Biden sent 70 secret night flights of migrants from the border to Florida. More than 70 flights transporting migrants from the southern border to Jacksonville have landed in the dark of night in recent months as the Biden administration struggles to empty overflowing border facilities, the office of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said. So this has been happening for a long time. And if you ask me, I think the governors of Arizona, Texas, and Florida should have acted a lot sooner. So, yes, you can fit a lot of people on the plane, but in order to fly into large commercial flights are not flying into Martha's Vineyard. It is a very small airport, so you can't get that many people on the plane. When I flew into I was actually surprised they were even able to get people there. Now, at the Martha's Vineyard, so here's the problem. So Martha's Vineyard, when I heard that they dropped a large amount of people off at Martha's Vineyard, my immediate thought was, because I know I've been to that island, so I know the geographics of that island. I'm like, well, they're not going to be able to stay. It's all summer rentals. I actually reached out to my friend that has property there, and I said, I'm hearing people in Martha's Vineyard say that there is a housing crisis. Is that true? And he said, well, during the summer, there's literally zero property available right now. There are zero properties available, and they import employees for the summer months. So there actually really is nowhere for them to stay. I knew from the beginning that they were probably going to be transported off the island. So I never really actually thought that they would stay. And I do agree, they actually do not have resources for them. I agree. And I even agree with, the Martha's Vineyard residents who are kind of getting criticized and mocked a little bit online because they're saying we don't have room. They actually don't. So I agree with what they were saying. My issue is, and the reason this is so significant is because what about all these other towns that are being overrun? They have gotten zero media attention. No one has listened to them. And you guys are the ones that vote for these policies. And you're not the one that has to deal with the reality of these policies. This is all are welcome here. This is the virtue signaling that happens on Martha's Vineyard. And this is why this is happening. We respect women. This is what it says. So this is the island of Martha's Vineyard. This is is it the Visitors Bureau? It says, this is the island of Martha's Vineyard. It says, we respect women. We value Black lives. We stand with our LGBTQ community members. We stand with immigrants, with refugees, with indigenous peoples, and with people of all faiths. We stand with community. All are welcome here. Hate has no business here. So, anyway, so there's that. Now we are going to, wait, where? I have some audio for you. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so this is a Martha's Vineyard resident. And I don't disagree with her. I actually don't. The problem is you have virtue signaled to all of us that hate has no place. So you accept all refugees, you accept immigrants, you just virtue signaled for all of us. You just voted for a man who advocated on open borders. This wasn't really a shock. Like, Biden legit advocated on open borders. He said that he wanted people to come over illegally. He said that if you are here illegally, he wants to give you free health care. So these are people that are voting for these policies. That's what the issue is. The issue is that I completely agree with this woman. She's right. She's absolutely right. So why can't you just say that from the beginning? Why do you have to virtue signal for dangerous policies that hurt people just so you can feel like you're a little bit better than other people? Because let me tell you something. I've been to a lot of really nice areas, and I also have been to a lot of really poor areas. You will not see one of those signs in a working class or poor area. You will not see a Black Lives Matter sign in a poor area. You will see these signs in the whitest of most affluent areas. That's where you will see all of this crap. And that's why people don't like it. And it's interesting because it creates this echo chamber, right? It creates I see this sign and I don't like that sign. I don't like that sign not because of what it says. I don't like that sign because of the person who put it in their yard. And because I know, Jonathan says, I am an echo chamber. Okay, Jonathan, give me your best argument. What do you disagree with that I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure everything I'm saying is common sense and right. Okay, but let's listen to what she said because I agree with her. That's not the issue.
At some point in time, they have to move from here to somewhere else, right? We don't have the services to take care of 50 immigrants, and we certainly don't have housing. We're in a housing crisis as we are on this island, and so we can't house everyone here that lives here and works here. We don't have housing for 50 more people.
So she says, we don't even have housing for the people that lived here. We definitely don't have housing for 50 more people. And she's actually right. They really don't. So stop advocating for that stuff then. Because you have towns of like 2,000 people that are being overrun. So we're actually going to look at one of those towns right now. I have audio. Truth is not trolling. Well, then maybe you should do your own research because so everyone that is here in this live stream, we've been together for a while. So not only do we know about those flights, we've actually looked at video of those flights. We have whistleblowers of those flights. We have documents of those flights. We've gone through all of that stuff. Again, there's several people that you can follow. There's several independent journalists that you can follow online. I did about your ghost flight claims. Okay, well, I don't think you did actually, because I'm pretty confident about that flight, about that fact. All right, so here we go. So this is, oh shoot, what town? This is a border town.
I several weapons I need to have here because I don't feel safe. They are like robbing stuff or killing animals to eat. I don't know, or stealing your things. So that's what concerns me.
We used to close our business at 9. We now close at 7 because it gets dark. People are walking around. And all girls, you just never know.
Pretty much every day you see groups walking along the side of the road. You see groups in front of gas stations there. I mean, and people are just trying to go on about their day, you know.
So that's basically every single day in the border towns. That's what they're facing. And then what's this audio?
People are sleeping on the streets because there are no beds left for people when they arrive.
Okay, so this was actually today. And this is our press secretary. This is the question that she's being asked about illegal immigration, because it is true that in a lot of the border towns, you have people sleeping on the side of the road. You have, so the woman said, I used to close my shop at 9 p.m. Now I have to close it at 6 p.m. She either said 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. because it's just too dangerous. And I have girls working there. And now you have all these like guys and just groups of people walking around at night with nowhere to go.
People are sleeping on the streets because there are no beds left for people when they arrive. There's not enough buses to take them to other cities that might have capacity for them. Is that acceptable? And is there something the administration can be doing right now in a place like El Paso?
So I'll tell you exactly what the Department of Homeland Security has been doing. They've been surging resources to the region and working to quickly decompress the area. As with all individuals encountered at the border, DHS continues to expel migrants as required by court order under CDC's Title 42 authority. Those who cannot be expelled under Title 42 are screened and processed to have their claims for relief heard by.
So I would say, oh, and then by the way, the update on Martha's Vineyard. Okay, so happening now, migrants are, that was yesterday. Okay, so yesterday, migrants flown into oh, nope, this is today. I have my clips. I got it. Clips were out of order. All right, so today they were moved out of Martha's Vineyard, which I knew they would be. Happening now, migrants flown into Martha's Vineyard by Florida governor are boarding buses. They'll be heading to Joint Base Cape Cod. According to officials, 125 National Guard members are being activated. I just want to keep in mind that Governor Greg Abbott has been asking for National Guard. A lot of people have been asking for National Guard to help out with what's happening on the border. A lot of people have also been asking for federal assistance, and that has been denied. Okay, now for the fun part. And again, this isn't to make fun of anyone, but it's opening up discussion. So here's a tweet by a friend on Twitter. It says, I'm in a couple of Martha's Vineyard Facebook groups, and they're all turning on each other, calling out their friends for not letting migrants in their summer homes. So these are the residents of Martha's Vineyard. It's really interesting because it seemed like a few of them are really thinking that all the migrants were going to stay. I knew that they weren't going to stay from that. There's no way. So here we go. So this is the Martha's Vineyard. This is a Martha's Vineyard Facebook group. I'm looking at the messages right now. So someone said, find them permanent housing. I'm sorry, but I thought there was a housing shortage here. Another person says, do you need anyone to help in the evenings? Where can clothing be given to them? Can we just come and give them nice clothing? Someone says, what else do they need? So somebody responded to this person who said, what else do they need? And said, they need housing. You have 2 summer rentals. Okay. Sorry, I just... Yeah, neither is okay, but you need, I mean, that's the best you can do. You do. You need federal authority. You can't just deport people. And these are people, someone made a really good point. And what a lot of people don't understand is these border towns, so a lot of people were demonizing, they're demonizing DeSantis, they're demonizing Abbott, they're demonizing Ducey, but these are red states. They just happen to be on the border. So all these states are red. They don't vote for open borders. They don't vote for this stuff. So why are they dealing with the brunt of it? They've been asking for help for I don't know how long, and they've been ignored by the media. At least now it's getting media attention. CA Underground, leftists when migrants show up in Martha's Vineyard. DeSantis should be brought up for charges for human trafficking. This is criminal and inhumane. Leftist, 24 hours later, here's a bus ticket off the island and away from us. Adios. And again, I don't disagree with them being sent off the island. There's really nowhere for them to stay. But Martha's Vineyard is literally, it's one of the biggest virtue signaling islands. I literally saw a sign, I'm not even joking. I saw a sign when I was there and it said, I can't remember if it was in front of a community center or a church, but if you go to my Twitter, it's on my Twitter. It says, every Sunday at 10:30 a.m., we kneel for Black Lives Matter. That organization has done more to hurt the very people that they said they want to help. And this has been known for some time now. Hopefully, that was a year ago that I was there, so hopefully that sign isn't there anymore. This is from another resident in Martha's Vineyard. So this person said in the group, here's the thing, DeSantis absolutely can send refugees to Massachusetts, and we have services set up to help them here. But without notice, he dumped them, not in Boston, where support systems are in place, but in MV, which has no existing services. IMO, it was a political stunt that shows DeSantis to be both calculating, partisan, and deeply cruel. But somebody said Obama has room. Another person said, I'm sure he does, but that's not the point. So we're still in the Facebook group here. This is heartbreaking. How sick is DeSantis to treat people like that? I don't know. Maybe we should ask the women in his state as he robs them of their bodily autonomy. Another person said, find them permanent housing? I'm sorry, but I thought there was a housing shortage here. Another person said, do you need anyone to help in the evening? Okay, we already read that. Okay, this is actually my favorite comment. I respect this person. I have so much respect for this person. This is my favorite. This is the most sane thing that I have ever heard come out of a liberal's mouth. And I respect this because you advocate for it and you own it. So this person says, it's not cruel. So this person says, we who voted Democrat promised our support for illegal immigration and supported the sanctuary state. Now the illegal immigrants are being transported to us because our votes agreed to support them. I can't understand how anyone can formulate a logical argument as to why we shouldn't receive these folks. The border states voted to not support open borders, illegal immigration, so it makes sense they would transport these folks to an area that welcomes them. What is the argument? Florida is doing the right thing and helping place these people where they are welcome. I don't understand the controversy. Oh my gosh, can I hug you? Can I give you a hug? Who is this? Sai Sand. Can I give you a hug? Absolutely. And this is the beauty of it. Because if they really believed everything they said, if they thought that states, somebody in the Martha's Vineyard group, obviously a liberal, This is a Facebook group. I'm reading from a Facebook group. Yeah, they vote. Okay, thank you. I didn't know that statistic, but I would imagine that to be true, right? 80%, that sounds about right. That's what I would estimate. About 80% of people in Martha's Vineyard vote Democrat. It's very, I mean, I've been there. It was very liberal. That's where I saw the, you're kneeling. Those MV chat room screenshots have been comedy gold. It's one of the biggest self-owns. Like, the self-own on this is just amazing. It's amazing. Because he made a point too. And this is another point. Because you hear liberals, they say, you know, Republicans are so bigoted. Death Santis. Texas is so terrible. Florida is so terrible. So why would you want migrants to stay there? If it's so terrible, wouldn't you want to get them out of there? Wouldn't you praise Ron DeSantis? Like, thank gosh, you got them out of your state. It's so terrible. We care about migrants. We don't want them to stay there. So clearly you don't believe what you're saying. And that's the beauty of all of this. It's not that you advocate for something I disagree with. It's that you don't even believe what you are advocating for. And what you're advocating for is dangerous. You don't even believe it. Because the second it comes to your doorstep and it says hello, you say, oh, bye. May hope Jonathan is still here. Is Jonathan still here? Here's another comment within the group. By a liberal, mind you. At least it's an educated liberal. You do realize the Biden administration is shipping them to Florida. They aren't walking or swimming here. Biden would this is someone that lives in Florida. Maybe they have a vacation home in Martha's Vineyard. Interesting. Okay, so listen. You do realize the Biden administration is shipping them to Florida. They aren't walking or swimming here. Biden would control the border. He is supposed to do instead of sticking the border states with them and Florida because he detests DeSantis. You wouldn't have the problem either way. It's only fair the states that voted for Biden should get punished. Florida did not vote for Biden. They did not vote for these policies. Texas did not vote for Biden. And actually, there is a reason the border towns do not vote Democrat. Why do you think that is? Maybe because they actually see the reality of open borders. They experience it. They live it. And Martha's Vineyard got just a little tiny, not even the tip of the iceberg of what these people experience every single day, and nobody listens to them. How do you think it feels to talk about the reality and how scared you feel in your hometown? How now you have to shut your store down 2 to 3 hours early because it's a safety concern, and then you have rich white liberals living in Martha's Vineyard telling you to shut up, bigot. Deal with it. Have some tolerance, bigot. I have a sign in my yard that says I'm tolerant to everyone, therefore I'm better than you. Yeah. Because we all know the reality. Yeah, that was brilliant. What was that? I think it was Greg Abbott that sent it. Yeah, and Yeah, and tell me how that feels too. Tell me how that feels to live in one of these towns, to be that lady who owns that business, to be that young guy who's looking at people all of a sudden, just like groups of people he's never seen before. And then the Kamala Harris, who was appointed the border czar, who's supposed to be in charge of this whole mess, literally gets on TV last week and says the border is secure. Had the nerve to get on TV and say the border is secure. No. I think the last number I saw was about 8,000 people that are coming over the border every single day. That's a lot of people. That doesn't sound secure. That doesn't sound closed. In fact, it sounds pretty open to me. So how do you think it feels to be one of those people living in a border town, seeing what they're seeing, experiencing what they're experiencing, and then the Vice President of the United States of America, who is supposed to represent you and your best interest, is saying, no, the border is secure, it's not open? Yeah, so what did Greg Abbott do? He sent 2 bus loads full of migrants to Kamala Harris' front doorstep. Good for them. Was it Abbott or was it I think it was Abbott. And this was actually last night. It says, just giving you a heads up, they are all being brought to Camp Edwards, Joint Base Cape Cod for housing and care. Don't publish my name because I'm so-and-so years in the Guard and don't want my balls cut off. But 300 guardsmen are being activated to support this, all being sent to JBCC. Yeah, well, Jam is right. If you declare yourself a sanctuary state or a sanctuary city, then I think if we have open borders right now, I think it's your duty and your responsibility to bear the brunt of this, in my opinion, because you're the one that you said you declared that you are a sanctuary city, that you are a sanctuary state, or that you are whatever. So live up to your declaration. You voted for these policies. You advocated for Biden. You endorsed Biden. You endorsed these policies. You said that you are a sanctuary state. So now put your money where your mouth is and do it. But no, Chicago, I think Chicago had them move to the suburbs. So they're not in Chicago. I think New York is moving them out. So nobody wants to deal with anyone. Okay. So this was today from the Daily Wire. The Massachusetts state representative for the area, including the leftist haven Martha's Vineyard, responded Wednesday to the arrival of 50 Venezuelan illegal immigrants by boasting off the island's reception for immigrants, prompting Texas GOP Senator Ted Cruz to fire back with a remark. Florida GOP Ron DeSantis arranged this week for the illegal immigrants to be transported to the Massachusetts island known for housing former President Barack Obama's home and being a playground for the Kennedy family. Chappaquiddick. After the move by DeSantis, State Rep Dylan Fernandez tweeted, "Our island jumped into action by putting together 50 beds, giving everyone a meal, providing a play area for the children, making sure people have the healthcare and support they need. We are a community that comes together to support immigrants." Lisa Belcastro, the coordinator for Martha's Vineyard homeless shelter Harbor Homes, exhibited a far different reaction to the arrival of immigrants than Fernandez did. Asked Thursday what the most difficult challenge were for the island facing the arrival of 50 illegal immigrants, she responded that the difficult challenges are we have at some point in time they have to move elsewhere. Okay, so do you remember that lady that we listened to at the beginning of the stream? So that was Lisa, and she is the coordinator for Martha's Vineyard homeless shelter. So the coordinator for the Martha Vineyard homeless shelter said, we don't have room, we don't have resources, they can't stay here. So just so we know, She said, we don't have the services to take care of 50 immigrants, and we certainly don't have housing. We're in a housing crisis, and we are on an island. And we can't house everyone here that lives here and that work here. We don't have the housing for 50 more people. You know, there's a lot of communities that don't have the housing for all of these individuals, and they're being forced to take them. Because this is what you voted for. And again, I don't disagree with her. I know that's true. That's why I don't advocate for open borders, because I know that it is not humane. I also know that it's not the poorest, it's not the sickest, and it's not the neediest that are coming here. So we are not serving anyone. And it was funny too, because I kept seeing how inhumane it was for DeSantis to transport people to Martha's Vineyard. How inhumane do you think it is to have open borders? If you think them flying to a beautiful island on a nice little tiny plane is bad, how do you think it is to trek through Mexico? What do you think they experience there? And it's taken some of them months. So this is a months-long journey. Appearing on Fox News in July, Cruz referenced the 4.2 million Appearing on Fox News in July, Cruz referenced the 4.2 million he cited this week. He pointed out, we've now had in a year and a half under Joe Biden, 4.2 million people cross illegally into this country. It's the highest rate of immigration in this country in 62 years. In the explosion of drug trafficking, last year we had 100,000 people die of overdoses just in my home state of Texas. We had over 1,600 people overdose on fentanyl. And I gotta say that Joe Biden body bags, they keep piling up and up. And what is causing it is this president, this vice president, this attorney general refuse to enforce the law. When they catch a trafficker, they let him go. They follow a catch and release, and they engage in the state in an unbelievable denial, is what he's saying. Literally, all they have to do, this whole problem could be fixed in an instant. This entire issue could be fixed with the swipe of a pen. All they have to do is enforce the laws that are already on the books. That's it. They don't need huge legislative change. They don't need anything. They just need to enforce the laws that are already on the books. You have an administration that is actively not enforcing the law. You could argue that that is one of their most basic duties as a governing body, is to enforce law, to protect a border. But people have been brainwashed to think that open borders is humane. That's the good thing. That's the virtuous thing to do. So now if I put my little sign in my yard that says that I'm virtuous, I am virtuous, when in fact you are basically advocating for a crime industry. Because what's happening on our border right now is it's a crime industry. Illegal immigration is a crime industry. The cartel is making billions of dollars. You know who the biggest benefactor of open borders, do you know who that is? It's the cartel. So congratulations, you're making the cartel more powerful. Do you know who's also we talk about colonizing. We all hate thank you, Salty. Trillions, you're right, probably. Trillions. And we talk about colonization all the time. You want to know who's colonizing in the U.S. right now? Look up what's happening in California. The cartel is colonizing illegal weed grows in California. The cartel is actively, it's not even funny. The cartel is actively colonizing in the U.S. as we speak. Speaking of one of the inhumane effects of open borders, this just came out today in the Daily Caller. No, I'm sorry, it came out September 12th. This just came out this week in the Daily Caller. Border town requests refrigerators for bodies as morgues are overwhelmed from people dying in the Rio Grande River from trying to cross illegally. I also wanted to share another thing with you too, because this is interesting, and this is another virtue signal. So a lot of people who are now virtue signaling, saying that what Ron DeSantis did was inhumane. Ron DeSantis actually made this legal a while ago. So underrated aspect of Martha's Vineyard meltdown today. The funding for transporting illegal aliens to sanctuary jurisdictions was a highlight of the budget signed months ago. Democrat legislators performing outrage today voted for it. Promises made, promises kept. So any Democrat that's in Florida right now who is an elected official in Florida and who is bashing on Ron DeSantis for making this decision, some of those people actually voted for this budget approval, which has in it that they can transport people to sanctuary states and sanctuary cities. Okay, context. Almost every Democrat from Lauren Book to Anna Ekmani voted for the budget and funding for the transport of illegal immigrants out of Florida. Now they're pretending to be puzzled and shocked that it actually happened. Okay, here is the Florida House reps. Okay, so basically you have Democratic politicians out of Florida who are acting just like baffled and completely appalled that Ron DeSantis made this choice. Well, this was in his budget proposal. It says, and it's highlighted right here, we will transport, if illegal immigrants are brought here, we're approving a budget to set aside funding to be able to transport them to sanctuary cities. And a lot of these Democrats that in Florida that have come out and are bashing Ron DeSantis actually voted to approve this. Man. Here is Democrats are fine with tens of thousands of illegal immigrants being dumped by the federal government on small, largely Hispanic towns in Texas. They only go berserk when some of the illegal immigrants are put on buses to the blue areas. Elitist lawn sign, morality at its best. Thank you. I think this deserves to be read again. We are talking about human lives. I just saw exactly. We're talking about human lives. Yep, that's the point. That's why there should be legal immigration and not illegal immigration, because these are human lives that we're talking about. Exactly. You get it. Democrats are fine with tens of thousands of illegal immigrants being dumped by the federal government on small, largely Hispanic towns in Texas. They only go berserk when some of those illegal immigrants are put on buses to blue areas. Elitist lawn signs, morality at its best, for sure. Yep, and here it is. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser declared a public emergency last week and announced the city would be creating a new office to provide services for migrants. The thing is, this is what people don't understand. A lot of people pay attention to our politics, and when you have open borders, you're incentivizing people because they know once they reach the border, they'll be able to walk over and get services in the United States. So, and the cartel knows this, everybody knows it, so they're paying thousands of dollars. They're being transported up from wherever they're coming from, and you have people from all over. I believe it was Yuma, Arizona that had people from Russia, the country of Georgia, Belarus, all over. And they're basically just, and they don't look, you'll see these people, I'm telling you, some of them like look like your next door neighbor. They do not look, they do not look poor at all. They look like literally regular middle class people that are paying thousands of dollars to get here illegally. I've actually heard stories of people that instead of just trying to prove it? What are you talking about? Instead of just, he's too mad to type. Show me where they are opening the border. Hey, Jonathan, how about you do some research? Because it's all there. I just told you exactly where you can go. So anyone that doesn't believe this is happening, here we go. Bill Malusian, Fox LA. Do you want the proof? Do you want to see video? Go right now. Bill Malusian at Fox LA. It's at BILL Fox LA. Bill Malusian, Twitter. He's been there since Biden took office. You can see video after video after video. This guy has been taking videos every single day for the past 2 years. Oh, you have? Okay, then I don't know how to help you, dude. That sounds like a personal problem to me. That's a personal problem and something that you need to take up with a professional somewhere else. So there we have it. It will be really interesting. Maybe he's blind. Maybe, I don't know. There was a video last week where the National Guard, yeah, so let's talk about that. There was this video, I know exactly what you're talking about that, and this was what was pretty frustrating. So I believe it was, let me know if I'm correct, it was the Texas National Guard. So Texas has deployed their National Guard to the border, and a bunch of people were trying to enter a gate illegally, and it was locked. And the Texas National Guard was going to keep it locked. Well, the Border Patrol, which that's federal, Border Patrol came and actually opened. So they were trying to enforce border security. Border Patrol came in, opened it, and allowed people to come in. Yeah. So that's what's happening. And that's why, I think that's why they're so frustrated. They've been asking for help, and it's like they're getting pushback from the federal government. Like they're trying to secure their own border, and then the federal government is going in and undermining them. And again, these are red states. At least, you know, I have a lot of respect for this guy on this message board, Psy. By the way, this guy's Psy. He's from the Facebook group. I do find it interesting. I didn't realize this. The Democrat-led city of El Paso, Texas. So this is Bill Malusian. Again, this is Fox LA. So to me, this is one of the... Oh, thank you so much. Okay, I don't know if Jonathan is still here, but thank you for putting the link. If anyone wants to link, I just can't... Can I do it right now? No, I can't do it right now. But if anyone wants to even link, I don't know if anyone can go on Twitter and get either Bill Malusian or Jorge Ventura to link that in the chat, because that is a really good resource if you want to know exactly what's been happening. These two guys, Bill Malusian especially, he's been on the border since Biden's like first day in office, essentially, and every day is reporting on what he's seeing and what's happening down there. And it's one of those things, you know, people can want to wear their blinders all they want. I'm actually glad that Jonathan was here because I've met a lot of people like that. It's like I'm telling them what's happening. I have a lot of friends who are very liberal, and I'm not saying I don't know who that person is, but I have a lot of friends who are very liberal who I will tell them the truth. I will show them all of the evidence. And it's like the cognitive dissonance is so bad that they will not believe what is literally right in front of their face. They need to believe whatever their ideology is, they need to believe that so bad that they will TDS. Yeah, it's like TDS. I've seen this so many times. But more and more, the more that Ron DeSantis, the more that Abbott, the more that all of these people continue to do what they're doing, the more that these individuals that are liberal and trying to ignore the problem or trying to pretend that open borders is the humane answer, they're not going to be able to do that any longer. I really do think it sucks. It sucks so bad because there's so much collateral damage. But I think that the best thing for Republicans was really to give liberals what they want. And that stinks because there's going to be a lot of damage along the way, whether it's the soft on crime DAs, the open borders, defund the police, all of these things. I almost think that we're going to have to give that to them so they can actually see the reality of these policies because, you know, I learned that working for the state. I was a bleeding heart liberal until I actually worked for the government for a few years. I worked for a psychiatric hospital for children and adolescents. And then I worked, it's going to take, yeah, that's what's really sad. Salty is right. Like, it's unfortunate too because the damage we're not even a full 2 years in. And the damage that has already been done, you're right, is going to take a very, very long time to fix. Already. And we're only 2 years in. Yes, TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. I don't know if Jonathan had Trump. I don't know who Jonathan is. I've never seen Jonathan before. Ow. That's what it is. But yeah, unfortunately. So this will be really interesting to see how it plays out. What's going to happen. Yeah. YouTube is not notifying on streams yet. I need to get a schedule going. I'm working on that. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can. I might not be able to get updates right now. It's actually YouTube's practice. It's their fault. I am so sorry. Do you have the notification bell? I'm even hearing from some people, not on this channel, but from other channels. I'm even hearing that that's not really helping. How are you? I'm doing fabulous. How are you doing? Good show today. Keep up the fight and have a good weekend. Thank you so much. Can you get me out of Connecticut? Too many liberals over here. They ruin everything. They want Ukraine here like they made... Susan the Suppressor? Oh, is that... I know who you're talking about. Okay, well, here's an example. I just logged on to Twitter. Where is Jonathan, our token dissident? Bill Mallusion, today, Fox News, you guys. More videos from our brand new Fox News night flying drone. Okay, so they just got a night flying drone. More video from our brand new night flying drone with thermal imaging earlier this morning. Within just 2 hours in Eagle Pass, Texas, this AM, we saw 3 large groups totaling 500 plus crossing illegally into these spots. Wow. Here, I'll see if I can show it to you. Hold on. So I'm going to try to show this to you. I have some stuff plugged in. No, show. Okay. You can't see the video really, but you can see those things that are lit up. Those are all people. So this was today. So for anyone, you know, this is what's happening every single day in Eagle Pass and just along the southern border. So this is Eagle Pass alone. More video from our brand new Fox News night flying drone. See, all those are people. Okay, so within just 2 hours, so the and all the videos, his son leaves everywhere. Okay, so more video from our brand new Fox News night flying drone with thermal imaging from earlier this morning. Within just 2 hours, so within just 2 hours this AM, they saw 3 large groups totaling 500 plus crossing illegally in 3 spots. 450 plus thousand illegal immigrants crossing this sector thus far this year. In just 2 hours, 3 groups. Here we go. Another one from Bill Malusian. Today, you guys. Man, where's Jonathan? Hunter is crying for help. Good morning from Eagle Pass, Texas, where we have groups of several hundred migrants crossing illegally in multiple locations right now, including part of this group, which started walking along a local highway. We have seen 3 large groups and locations. This is just a highway in El Paso, Texas. This is what they deal with every single day. So this is the people of El Paso, Texas, see this every single day. Yeah. And of course Gavin Newsom has to get involved, doesn't he? You can't have an issue without Gavin Newsom being able to virtue signal. It's like his favorite thing. He won't do anything for California, but he will virtue signal on issues that are happening that have nothing to do with his state. So war of words escalating between California Governor Gavin Newsom and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Newsom calls DeSantis a disgrace, suggests the DOJ investigate him for possibly kidnapping. DeSantis responds, I think his hair gel is interfering with his brain function. I just feel like I like Ron DeSantis more and more each day. DeSantis responds, I think his hair gel is interfering with his brain function. That's pretty good. Illegal aliens are being deported from Martha's Vineyard. They were talking about charging him with RICO. Well, you know what? They can't. He passed that in the budget. All those Democrats in Florida that are saying they want to investigate it, they voted for this. Like, it's in the budget. It's there. He can do this. Is he Pelosi's nephew? Yes, but I feel like it's through marriage somehow. Okay. Okay. Let's check out. We're just hanging out now. I hope you guys are cool with that. Okay, so new. Border Patrol in Del Rio Secto report they arrested a convicted murderer from Nicaragua who was found in a group on the highway near Uvalde, Texas. Reggie Alfredo Lares Lopez was convicted of murder in Miami in 1996 and has been deported twice, most recently in June. Okay, here's Lori Lightfoot. Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. We need federal support, resources, communication, and collaboration. And that has to come in short order. So Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot demands federal support to protect her city from the influx of illegal immigrants. All right, let's listen to... I didn't see that one. Okay, let's listen to, this is the press secretary today is being asked about Martha's Vineyard.
Island that is known on what you call this political stunt with the asylum seekers. Let's specifically get into the on what you call this political stunt with the asylum seekers. Let's specifically get into the location. Martha's Vineyard, the Naval Observatory. Can you talk to the issue of, you said Boston. It's an island that they sent the asylum seekers to. An island that is known to be, in some instances, a Democratic haven. Former Democratic presidents vacation there, own homes there, etc. Could you speak to that as well as the Naval Observatory?
What I could say, and I've been very clear, it is a political stunt. That's what we're seeing from governors, Republican governors in particular. And it is a cruel, inhumane way of treating people who are fleeing communism, people who are, and we're not just talking about people, we're talking about children, we're talking about families who are promised a home, promised a job, put on a bus, and, driven to a place that they do not know. And it is a cruel thing to do.
It is a cruel thing to do, to put them on a bus. Wouldn't it be cruel to send them to an evil Republican state? Like, I feel like that would be really cruel because Republicans are so bigoted and awful. And Death Santis, why would you send them to Death Santis's state? He's Death Santis. If you actually cared about them. I know it's inhumane to send them to one of the wealthiest pieces of real estate where people have like 10 rooms in their homes. The last I saw, he was trying to find his way off stage. Guys, that is where Biden is still trying to find his way off stage. That's what he's doing right now. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is being asked to our press secretary. So, you repeatedly blamed the Trump administration for what we're seeing at the southern border, but the record crossings have been happening under President Biden. No response. That's true. Oh, okay. So here's a question about the flying of illegal immigrants. Oh, I wanted to hear it. honest with you guys, no, I was like a little, I want to go on a bit, like, I was a little jealous that they got to fly. It is beautiful when you fly in. I'm like, let me see if I can, like, it is beautiful. I was a little jealous. I'm not going to lie. I was a little jealous. Let me see if I can show you my my Instagram really quick. I'm going to show you what they saw when they flew in. Load. I'm actually, later on today, I'm going to get some new stuff, so to make my, I'm going to get new things, new technologies. Okay, that's loading. While that's loading, this was the press room.
DHS has assigned some of these migrants.
This is actually, so this is somebody in the press secretary room asking about the secret flights throughout the evening.
Saying that DHS has assigned some of these migrants fake addresses, and that's complicated their cases and their ability to get hearings. Do you know if that's accurate? And
Can you say that? Like, you said DHS, and say that, and then can you continue from there?
DHS has assigned some of these migrants fake addresses, and that's complicated their cases and their ability to get hearings and so forth. Do you know if that's accurate? And
This is the first time I'm hearing of this, so I would have to reach
No.
out to my
We
colleagues over at DHS to see if that is actually true.
And then just if you
Okay.
can respond to
I got her.
Ron DeSantis' comment that this is apparently, he said it was essentially no different than what the federal government has done in sending flights in the middle of the night. That's it's characterized it. Taking migrants to various different states. Do you have a response to that?
So we are offering solutions. That's what the Biden-Harris administration has been doing since day one,
Whoa,
including
I didn't know.
on the first day putting forth a comprehensive immigration reform to
Oh.
deal with this issue.
It's working.
We have given DHS record funding. We have advanced policies.
Yeah.
What have they done? They do these political stunts. They vote against our funding requests. They vote against
Do you want to know why they voted against the funding request? Because that funding request, you know what that would have done? It would have hired more employees to be at the border to do what? To do what? To process. That's why they wanted more funding, because they wanted bigger facilities to be able to hold people. They wanted more employees to be able to process the large number of illegal immigrants that they are incentivizing to come across. So that is why they wanted more funding. They weren't going to use it to close the border. They were not going to use it to make the border more secure. It was not going to go to any sort of security or enforcement. It was going to go to processing.
to fix this broken system. Stunts aren't solutions here. Stunts aren't policies. We're over here trying to govern, trying to actually fix a system that has been broken for some time, trying to fix a system that was decimated by the last administration. And all we're seeing is from them is petty and dangerous stunts. This is dangerous. They're putting children's lives at risk. They're putting families' lives at risk. And again, I'll say to Republicans again, if they are interested in solving the problem, there are many ways to do this. They should vote for record funding that we've put forth for DHS, and they should sign on or work with us on a comprehensive...
Again, that funding that they were asking for, it's really, really important that people know this. Really important. There is a reason why Republicans did not want more funding, because it would have gone to processing. They were like, we are not supposed to be processing all of these people. We are supposed to be enforcing the law that's already on the books. Again, you guys, all they have to do, if they want to fix things, it's a simple swipe of the pen. Simple. No, they're not trying to fix it. They're the ones that destroyed it. So what happened, Okay. We're going to look at what he did day one. We're going to look at exactly why this is happening. So, day one in office. Okay, so this is what Biden did his first day in office. He put a 100-day pause on removals. He expanded DACA again. He stopped construction of the border wall. Even though everything was already bought and paid for, crews were already hired, he stopped construction of the border wall. He ended the Remain in Mexico policy that Trump put in place. That's why we saw that a lot of people were not attempting to cross illegally when Trump was in office, or not nearly as many, because he had the Remain in Mexico policy. What incentivizes a lot of people to come over our border is this thing that we have called catch and release, which is literally the dumbest thing. It is so dumb. Literally, if you cross the border illegally, we apprehend you, we get your info, we give you a court date that's in 3 months, and then you're released into the U.S. And most people do not ever come to their court date. And most people that come here and claim asylum do not actually meet asylum status. These are not true asylum seekers. They are economic migrants, which there's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against that. But we have a process in place for people to come legally when they want to be economic migrants. And the reason for that is what you're seeing on Martha's Vineyard. You saw it on a very small scale, but the reason for that is because there are finite resources. That's not my opinion. That's just a fact. There are finite resources. There is a finite amount of money. What are you told on a plane? You make sure you're okay. You put your mask on now. Even if you have a baby, you put the mask on yourself first, and then you help your child. Because you can't help anyone if you are not doing okay. If you need help yourself. We have homeless people everywhere. We have veterans that need help. There are people in Jackson, Mississippi, I haven't looked at this today, but did not have drinking water. Literally did not have drinking water. Yeah, and I understand. So Salty just brought up. So there was a news story, and yeah, there were videos of it too. And this is how it's not racist to be alarmed of vast changes or to say we might not have enough resources. Mexico City saw an influx of Americans moving there. Probably because of a lot of different reasons. Cost of living, COVID, like all of those things. So they started seeing their cities become gentrified with Americans who are moving there and working remotely from the U.S. They're moving there because it's really cheap to live. It's a beautiful city. Like, why would you not? What I see come out of Mexico City, it's a beautiful city. And it's maybe a little bit safer than other parts of Mexico. So a lot of Americans are moving there. And it's gentrifying a lot of areas of Mexico City, and the Mexico City residents, rightfully so, are upset because they're like, hey, you guys, anytime a large influx of people that aren't from your area come and move in and change everything all of a sudden, it can be upsetting. That's nothing bad. It's nothing to do with race. It just has to do with that's human nature. Anyway, all right, you guys. That is what is happening today in the crazy world. I'm really interested to see how this is going to go. If they keep this up and keep, this narrative that they have, it's so interesting, the White House right now, because it's like they are trying so hard to stick to this narrative. The economy is booming. This border is secure. Like, they keep pushing this narrative, and it's like, it's obviously not true, but they're not. It's like, the more evidence we have that this isn't the case, the more the White House doubles down and really tries to just stick to that script of everything's fine, the border's fine, the economy is fine, and it's not. It's not. All right. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. I have to go now and get a new phone because it's about that time. I'm not looking forward to it, but that's where I have to go right now. Anyway, have a really great night. I'll see you later. Have a fabulous Friday. And this Martha's Vineyard story is very interesting. So we'll keep on it. But, well, did you know that Martha's Vineyard, they actually import their workers? So their workers, they import them from other places. They usually work for the summer season, and then they go back. All right, bye, you guys.